and you are watching Cloud Native FM YouTube channel, your go-to channel for deep dive into the modern technology challenges and solution. And I'm your host, Saim Safdar, and today we are tackling one of the unsung heroes of cloud infrastructure, that is cache. More specifically, we will be exploring why caching is crucial for modern cloud native patterns and systems, the rising cost challenges associated with managing cache at scale, and the current state of the cache ecosystem, including emerging tools and practices. And I have some wonderful guests with me. So Vladimir Rodionov, I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Over to you. Can you give us a quick intro of yourself?
My name is Vladimir Rodionov. I'm a software developer and co-founder of the company, which is a CARROTDATA. I've been doing software development for many years already, and for the last 15 years, I'm in the big data space with a company such as Works and Cloudera. I'm an open source contributor with over 170 contributions to the open source projects such as Apache Base and Ratis. And at the CARROTDATA, we developed the new modern caching solution as a replacement for the Memcached, and upcoming product is for Redis as well.
Alec Randall. I've spent 20 plus years in a couple of big companies, but 5 or 6 startups. I've led product marketing, strategy. Most of my experience has been in fintech or highly regulated industries, auto tech, health tech as well. And I met Vlad, I guess it was around May of this year.
Vladimir, so I can pick you for the first questions, and that is typically around when first time I connected with founders of the project. So the first natural question comes to my mind: what inspired you and your team to develop a solution around cache?
And back in 2014, I have spent some time, and at that time, HBase didn't have any cache actually available, and except that, like in memory and heap space, Java cache, which was very inefficient as a memory hole. And I have developed the two-layer solution. Basically, it's a hybrid solution, a caching solution for HBase. I call it the Backbase. It's like a read-optimized HBase, and presented the project on a couple HBase conferences. This was in memory and on disk cache, hybrid cache, which actually worked out of Java heap, and basically significantly improved performance on the point read operations. The next project, which actually spent some time on, presented back in 2023, it was hierarchical caching solution for the Apache Presto. Presto is a distributed SQL engine for the big data space, and quite popular, especially at Facebook. And basically, Facebook, as far as I remember, is the original developer of the Presto. That's another actual attempt. And for the CARROTDATA, like several years ago, I came up with the idea that everybody basically try to enter market with some kind of product which actually improves existing solutions, mostly with respect to the one metric. It's a performance. Like, yeah, we just released the database open source. We like 50% faster on this benchmark, like 70% faster on this benchmark, etc., etc., etc.
I think cache is the cornerstone of low latency application, whether it's for database queries, API responses, or server-based assets. Cache can drastically reduce load time and improve user experience. But as teams scale their operations, cache becomes a double-edged sword. Cost spirals, configurations get complicated, and operational headache arise. So, Alec, what is the correlations of some of the challenges you have seen customer faces when working with caches around cloud cost challenges in journal and some of the configuration drift and some of the operational overhead associated with it?
I think everyone sees that the escalating cloud cost is something that they want to slow down or reduce. And I don't think people always know, where to start or what to do. It's a big effort to figure out where they can cut back, where you can save. And specific to caching works, right? So it isn't, like speaking like what Vlad was talking about a few minutes ago. There's a lot of very performant caching solutions out there. And what people don't know is there is a problem, and it's they're paying, up to 5x more on caching than they should. And so if you really take this cost efficiency focus or framework to caching or the cloud stack, then you can just see that you can cut costs in that specific piece. There's a lot of other costs there, but if you save performance and you can instantly scale using the same money, that is great, right? That's a positive thing. And so that's what Vlad has built. And we think the market will head in that direction. We see a lot of marketing today around performance, like Vlad has said. And then as we are talking and doing our customer discovery, we're hearing more and more that the enterprise sales motion is more around cost efficiency. So we're already landing there. And so I'm really excited about what Vlad has built and how it can compete in the market. It's just a different approach completely than how some of the other solutions have been built.
Angle as well. So in caching in general, we have a lot of different tooling exist in the ecosystem. Like there's a lot of different solutions, and in turn, I think this space has always been evolving all the time as well. Specifically, we work in the cloud native architectures. API is now a big thing. There are solution developers who can call the APIs and then they build some infrastructure in the cloud as well. So that's we see now we're hitting a call to spinning up infrastructure in the cloud. So the cache layer become more important than ever. So when you're building CARROTDATA, how some of the limitations you see in the current solution and how CARROTDATA solve.
Our first product is which we call Memcarrot, is a drop-in Memcache replacement. So Memcache, like a very old technology, it's still quite popular and is used intensively by some big companies like, for example, Facebook is one of the major users, and Twitter, which is X now, and Pinterest and Netflix. They all still use Memcache, and their deployment is extremely high. Like, for example, the overall data caching infrastructure at Netflix, which is built on their version of Memcache they call EVcache. It's around 15 petabytes of data. So basically, you can imagine actually how large the caching fleet is for them. As for the why we actually approach this space, which is already has very good solutions like Memcached or Redis, which is quite very popular right now as a replacement for Memcached. I already mentioned. So we decided actually that just it's possible to develop the competitive solution and which bring customers some value, which both Memcached and Redis cannot do right now. Like our technology, which we use at Memcarrot, in Memcarrot is allows to squeeze much more data into the same amount of memory, and it's basically directly translate to the customer savings. So you can, for example, replace 3 Memcached server with one Memcarrot server and get the same performance in both requests per second and the hit rate. So like this was our original idea, and it's just idea already have been implemented, worked, and we have numerous benchmarks when we show that we can do much better, like between 2 and 6 times more memory efficient than Memcached or Redis. like memory efficiency, it's probably going to be the number one right now, but for the next year, we think we can deliver the serverless solution based on Memcarrot, which is a much more efficient as well for the customers, not only in terms of cost saving, but in terms of the performance as well. And in a few words, I just give you some small comparison. Like if you want just to set up the serverless cache right now with Amazon Elastic Cache, you have two options. You have two configuration knobs, I would say. It's a maximum amount of memory, like you said, the serverless cluster, and you say no more than like 500 gigabyte of memory. And the second one is the number of compute units to consume, like per second, probably. I don't remember. Yes, per second. It's basically a number of compute units translate to the number of requests per seconds, which your particular setup must handle. That's good. Yeah, but the question is, do you really know how much memory do you need? No. First of all. Second of all, let's say I will set like 500 gigabyte. What is the guarantee that actually my setup won't eat up all the memory, basically? And if I set 1 terabyte, it will eat up all the memory again. So what the point actually in this serverless solution is basically it's every time you set the maximum limit, you're going to be at the maximum limit, basically. Yeah. Let's again, it's directly translate to the both performance and cost. Like you have no idea how much memory do you need first. Yeah, so it's just a try, and you have no guarantee that most of the time your basically serverless setup will be efficiently will be using the memory and not hovering up at the maximum level. And this is what I see the major drawback. It's basically all the current serverless solution. They are quite similar here. Like you said the maximum, and or you said the number of requests per second, which this setup must handle. But again, it just doesn't serve your needs completely. Let's imagine you have a cache between application fleet and the database, and you know that your database, for example, can handle 5,000 requests per second. Like if you can make some calculation and translate this request per second into the cache misses. So you can, for example, say 5,000 requests per second, it's like approximately 2,000 cache misses, let's say, yeah? And imagine that you can actually say that, why can't I actually set the maximum cache misses my serverless setup must be able to handle? And in this case, basically, I will have a guarantee that the system which actually work as I want the system to work, and the system caching system will actually never overload the database in the first place. But nobody actually can offer this. And this is definitely what I think a customer are waiting for. Like, and hopefully we will deliver this solution next year.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You had some very good point as well, because we have seen there's a lot of debate and a lot of some scary and worries around the industry around these challenges as well. But I can ask you question around the cloud in general, because in cloud providers they also offered some managed cache service. Amazon has their own Elastic Cache. Google has some cloud memory store, which, and I think Azure also has some other their own offering as well. But there's of course things like our provisioning due to unpredictable workload, and team often faces challenges like that. Vendor lock-in and limiting flexibility and cost negotiation, and if inefficiencies in cache eviction policies leading to underutilized resources. So as of currently, if people go into the trycarrot.io, if there are, what are some of the solution that exist that can solve some of those limitations? So I want to hear what's coming up next in 2025 as well, and also people working on the cloud, on different cloud provider, how they could leverage some of your solution as well.
Make sure that Vlad hits the product roadmap for next year, and also can speak to some of the solutions today, like immediately, that people can try and pilot. But broader, if we speak broader, what are we looking at next year? Well, the market is really, AWS Elastic Hash is $2 to $3 billion. That's the top leader. Then you have, I think it's Azure, right? So they're around 450 million. Then you have Google, and then you have Redis, and then you have a bunch of tiny folks after that. It's wildly fragmented. So as we're looking at this, we're going to be acquiring some of these smaller companies that it's going to be an easier sell. It's going to be just people are looking at adding this to their stack, or potentially switching it because they want to optimize on cost. So we'll get some of those customers. At the same time, we'll get some bigger customers that'll be our design customers, to make sure that we are releasing a product that looks exactly like they'll be the first ones using Memcarrot plus Red Carrot, which Vlad hasn't talked about, which is really the Redis drop-in replacement. And these together are really, we say it's a Redis and Memcached drop-in replacement because that's how you can change, but it's really just a change in how you cache. It's a completely different system than either one, really. And so we're going to be attacking the market kind of in that kind of the small, getting some of the design partners at the bigger level. But a lot of the competition for us, like how do we actually acquire some of these cloud native services or compete with the cloud native services, is difficult. And so we really need to make sure that we are not just better in compression, but we're better in a number of features. And there are some key features that we're going to be clearly better at. And have those Redis doesn't have, or Valky, the fork that is offered through Elastic Hash or on the Amazon or AWS marketplace. So we're developing those and developing the messaging and positioning, and going to be working with our early customers and launching that throughout 2025. At the end of 2025, things will get much more exciting. But I want to hand it over to Vlad.
Yeah, currently, if somebody actually will go to the trycarrots.io, it's our website, they can actually will see the direct links for the download and direct links to our GitHub repository. So we have a Memcarrot, which is a Memcached replacement, is in the beta stage right now. Like it's under active development, and we're adding some features on we're fixing some bugs, and it's basically, I think we will release the GA version somewhere at the end of the first quarter of 2025. But currently it's absolutely usable. It's for the POC project, at least for trying, it's absolutely everything works. As I said, it's a Memcached replacement, so any Memcached client can work with our server. It has integration with Grafana and Prometheus, as well for the collecting and visualizing the metrics which it expose. That's what we have right now. Like in the upcoming year, definitely we have plans. First of all, like it's a GA release of the Memcarrot somewhere in the first quarter next year. We are looking for integration with the second-tier cloud providers such as DigitalOcean, Vercel, probably Heroku. And definitely our major goal for the next upcoming year, it's a serverless version of the caching based on a Memcarrot. And as I already actually mentioned, so we are working on we will be working on some features which actually our competitors like Elastic Cache, for example. Yeah, definitely this is going to be some new kind of a serverless solution. That's this is for sure. As for Elastic Cache, Microsoft Azure or Google, definitely it's very hard to compete with this behemoth, and we don't have plans basically for at least for the next year to compete with them. And we will try to attract the probably new customers, and we will be talking to some existing customers. But in the long term, definitely they are our major competitors. But for the next year, probably we mostly will be focusing on the better product and the better service. And eventually, I hope that if you develop something which is better and better than the existing one, and eventually you will get the popularity, you will get customers, you will get recognition, you will get actually your piece of the pie on the market.
Yes, absolutely. And I think on the same topic, like if people want to use some of your open source project, what are those? And if you want to try to experiment with some of your solution that they can see how they can benefit them. So can you pinpoint some of our
Yes.
listeners to them?
For licenses, yes, we have a full open source, which is Apache 2 for the core library, which the Memcarrot is built on. The library is called Carrot Cache. It's in the same GitHub or repo where the Memcarrot is, and so it's a free for everything basically. Like you can you can use this library. It has some documentation. It has examples, and it's our core library basically. Memcarrot currently licensed under SSPL, which is a similar to MongoDB. Basically, it's a MongoDB license. It's not open source, but I would say it's very liberal. Yeah, if somebody just doesn't know what is it, like you can use it for everything except if you try to build some cloud service based on this product. So you just have to provide all the source code under the same license. It's it's not open source, and I don't think, but probably we will consider the open sources anytime, sometime maybe next year. But we don't have a plan yet. We don't have plans to do this yet, but it's possible, definitely. Everything is possible.
I will include the link as well so people can try out some of the things we spoke about as well. And if you want to try out some of their offering, they can go into the trycarrots.io is a website where you can see some of the things, the blog posts and some of the early solution they have developed
Mhm.
for their customers as well. So before we wrap up the conversation, I think you hit the one wonderful thing that I think we definitely want to call upon as well and go back to the Alec as well, is we're talking about the serverless caching. So for the FinOps people, Alec, for technological, we can see how the difference of the serverless is. But with the FinOps side or the FinOps angle, how does the serverless approach to databases and the caches is different from what's already in the market, and how this solves the cloud cost conundrum?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I'm gonna punt over to Vlad because part of this is we have some things that we're developing that we don't necessarily want to talk about right now. But Vlad, why don't you talk about our serverless product and how you think it's different and exciting versus some of the other products today, and how it'll save costs. Just switch the focus
Yeah.
on cost versus performance since we're basically
Yes.
at parity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I already actually talked about this, and
Yeah.
our approach to serverless is quite different, and we want to develop and provide the product for the customers, which actually solve all their problem or almost all of them. I would say out of the box. You don't need to guess the maximum amount of memory you can allocate for. You don't need to guess your maximum request per seconds, and you basically you can get the insights in the your cache at any times at any moment basically of the operation. And you can actually play, you will be able to play with some actually scenarios or what if, kind of what if, and yeah, it's on a very high level. This eventually will translate. So we have already one feature which stands us apart from our competitors, our compression, server-side compression, which we call smart real compression. And it already helps to definitely reduce the amount of memory which customer needs to handle the particular data set. And it already reduces the cost of operation. But with this new features we will be adding to our serverless solution, we will attack this cost efficiency one more time. And it's definitely, I hope at least, that our serverless solution is going to be the much more memory and cost efficient than our competitors. Like both because we use this smart compression and because we use absolutely different, I would say, approach to how we implement this serverless solution. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's yeah.
Yeah, we see this. We see our products being very useful to customers and some of these big cloud companies. If you think about it, so we may not increase revenue. Oh, we could increase revenue because it's the best solution. So they could grab more share, and the fragmented segment of the market could start to converge. But at the same time, they'll increase profitability. So they can decrease their operational costs. So the margin should widen if they want it to. And I think we just saw there are decent margins, big margins in Elastic Cache. We saw an adjustment in price with Valky to compete with the market. I think it was like 30%. Like, okay, well, if you can all of a sudden discount this 30%, like what's going on, Amazon, right? Or AWS. So we think that it'll be very important going in the future, and we look forward to partnering with each of the major cloud providers and driving more value for the customers on their platforms.
Yes, absolutely. And I think this cache ecosystem is actually growing in a very rapid space because of the AI advent as well. And people are actually hitting more APIs than ever before in the advent of the computing infrastructure. And we need some solution who can actually put our costs down. Otherwise, it's going to be a very problematic going forward as well. And it's been great to see some solution or building around that as well. But before I let you go, Alec, I will get back to you on one point is when you're actually showing this to your customers, what was their initial response so far?
I mean, everyone thought it's interesting. And so, we talked to an early developer from Slack that built an Memcached solution for Slack. That's a perfect example of a customer that can really benefit from what Vlad and his team has built. And found it really interesting. We had a great conversation around different approaches, whether we believe certain approaches are going to win in the market or not. So that was very valuable and also led to some introductions to some folks, other developers and investors. So we had a series of those conversations. I think everyone is wondering, like, why are you focusing on caching? And then they understand after we talk. But no, it's not. People don't know it's a problem. So part of our job is to make people aware that there's a better way to do things. And as we build that traction with customers and have more stories to tell, the word will get out. And once the word gets out, then we're a viable solution to switch to, as long as it's easy and we can support all the commands and that they're already accustomed to using, and we have obvious, easy risk-free kind of rollback, all that kind of stuff. So we see it as being there now today. We have at least one pilot set up with a Series A scaling company that is really focused on reducing cost. And they use LLMs. So if you start now thinking about, yes, APIs, we're hitting them a lot. Now thinking about the agent world, let's think about the AI world. there's going to be a lot more activity, and there's going to be a lot more need for caching across lots of different areas. So we think we could be a meaningful player in several areas that are going to continue to boom over the next several years.
Really appreciated, and hopefully in the near future I will invite you again when we have some demos and some things to spoke about as well, because I think cloud cost is a big challenge, and cache, as Latimer is speaking about, there are some mishit, and then there is overloaded, and then there's inefficiencies, performance bottleneck, limiting the flexibility, cost negotiation, vendor lock-in, over provisioning, unpredictable workload, and underutilized resources. So there's a lot to unpack here, and it's love to see some companies actually see this and they're solving solution around that. So then the people who are building some solution, they can relax and do not fight with these intricacies, details of the building the cache system as well. So if you want to hear about more, you go into the trycarrots.io is a website. You can go and see all the information in there. And if you want to see some sort of GitHub repository, so there's a link to called github.com/carrotdata, and they have some solution around Red Carrot and also Carrot Cache as well. So those links are available in the YouTube description. You can check out as well. So for me, it's really super to see that they have some good responses from the community and the customers around this solution, because cache technologies have evolved significantly from traditional solution like Memcached and Redis to modern innovation like distributed caches optimized for cloud native environment. So I love to see how to see the rise of serverless caching come into the play, and how some of the advancement can lead us to some performance efficiencies in the AI environment as well. And also, I think in the cloud native environment, we see a lot of traction around APIs hitting up more than before as well. But with that, I think you like the conversation, but this is your time to put some question into the YouTube description. So Lad and Alec will answer those, and we'll see how the response of the community going to look like.
We really appreciate being here. Can't wait to come back and show you our progress. We're raising a fund right now, so or raising funds, looking at angels. We're talking to some of the top tier dev first VCs. So if you're interested there, great. If you're a dev and you're interested in what we're doing, check out the site. Contact us. We'd love to talk to you, and we're building. So if you're an engineer and this sounds like exactly what you want to be doing, reach out, because we're needing more help. This is not, it's not a one person, two person, three person game. It's a team that's going to really build this company and really make modern applications, operate better and more efficiently, cost efficiently. So